Uni for comment.
Joining me now is Independent MP for Fowler, Di Lee. Di, thanks so much for your time. Good to see you. It feels like it's been a while. This is a story that's going to be an election issue. What do you think about Dr Basuni's posts, and what do you think the effect it has on the community?
Good morning, Laura. Look, I just listened to the program there. I have not seen his posts, but can I say that the loss of lives from both sides in this conflict is really, really tragic. And I think whether it's one life, whether it's 10,000, loss of any lives is really tragic. And I think that at the end of the day, what, for me anyway, as an elected member, what we campaign on impacts sort of for our local community, their livelihood, their, the economic, the social cohesion here in our society. So it's concerning if that is what he's posted. Like I said, I have not seen it, but I can just call for, I suppose, on both sides to be so mindful of the impact of innocent lives being lost in this tragic conflict. And I don't know what we can do here in Australia or the world can do to stop a conflict that seems to be ongoing. And there are moments when it'll flare up, there are moments when it'll kind of seem like we forget about it. But I think that we just have to be mindful. For me, living in one of the most multicultural and multi-faith electorates in the country, I've got to make sure that cohesion is maintained and focus on the economic stability for our community here in Fowler, in Western Sydney.
And how's that cohesion going at the moment in Western Sydney in particular? Is there, an extra thread of anxiety within the community? Is there now a little bit more distrust after the October 7 attacks?
Look, I can only speak in terms for my community going on when I went door knocking, and I have continued to door knock, as you know, Laura. And the issues that people constantly raise with me is the cost of living. Yesterday, I was walking down the street, and a lady stopped me. She goes, "What can you do to stop this? Continue rising interest rates, because it's impacting my business is impacting us. $100 is not worth anything anymore." And she was just like stopping me and just talking to me about this cost of living. So these are the issues that are really impacting people here in Fowler more.
And Di, just to pick up there, sorry to interrupt you, but we've seen this, the Treasurer say the rising interest rates are smashing household budgets. I think that's a statement of the obvious, but trying to separate what the government does from the RBA. Are people blaming the RBA or are they blaming the government? Because I think it matters as we get closer to an election.
Well, this woman just said to tell the government to stop. So I think people don't see it as an RBA. I think they see the government is the government of the day that governs our country.
And what do they want the government to do? Do they want more cash handouts? They want them to control inflation? Do they accept that there's a little bit of pain before that can happen, or are they getting impatient?
For my community, they have obviously seen the interest rate rises. I think we've had 13 now.
Yeah.
So I think they're feeling the pain now, and they just want to ensure that there's no more further increases. Now, can the government do that? And of course, I understand with the RBA, the issue of the government spending will impact interest rate rises. But I think local people, ordinary people, say in places like in Fowler, they're just feeling the pain of interest rate rises and the cost of living, grocery prices, petrol prices. So I don't think they can sit there and analyse, it's RBA or government. They just know that it's painful for them.
Just one quick final question, because I look at the polls every day, I look at the research, the quantitative research, as well as the qualitative research as well, about what voters are thinking in the lead up to an election. It's looking like a minority government, most likely Labor minority, less likely is a coalition minority government. Who would you support in that event? What would help you frame that choice?
For me, I need to focus currently in terms of ensuring that some of the issues that I've been raising with the government in terms of the cost of living gets addressed, manufacturing and all of that. I will wait till the election, but I think
Yep.
it's whoever forms government will need to ensure that Western Sydney is not left behind anymore, and that there are funding and resources and services provided to people living in Western Sydney, and in particular my electorate of Fowler, because I think we miss out on so much resources. So for me, at the end of the day, it's how do we ensure that resources and the government of the day can deliver that. That's will probably, contribute to my decision on what what to do.
Di, thanks so much for your time. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Laura.